It's 2 a.m., you're awake and your chest is tight and your brain will not shut up. And you're doing the one thing that you said you wouldn't do again. You're looking at them, the affair partner. You're zooming in on photos, you're scrolling through their timeline, you're noticing their body, their smile, their job, their life. And the questions are rolling in fast and brutal. Are they more attractive than me? Are they more interesting? Did my partner want them more? Did they give them something I couldn't? If this is your experience, you're not alone, and you are not weak, you're not obsessive, you're not failing to heal. This is not who you are now. You are injured. You've experienced a betrayal trauma, which is a real trauma. And after infidelity, obsessing about or thinking a lot about the affair partner or the other person is a very common trauma response, because your nervous system is trying to make sense of an out of control situation. Your brain is trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. And if it studies them closely enough, you're going to find those missing pieces and this pain will make sense and you're going to feel in control again. But it won't. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to stop obsessing over the affair partner. But before we get into it, I'm Lauren Consul. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified sex therapist, here to help you have more satisfying and secure sex and relationships, even in the aftermath of infidelity. When an affair is discovered, your reality completely collapses and becomes unfamiliar, and your brain hates uncertainty. So it starts hunting for a reason. Because if there's a reason, then there's control, and control feels much safer than the unknown, even when the explanation hurts or isn't totally logical. Now, a common conclusion your brain lands on after this is, well, I wasn't enough, so they found somebody better. And this belief is absolutely devastating. But it also gives you a sense of power, because if it is about you, then theoretically you can fix it. You can improve yourself, you can compete, you can change things, and thus you can prevent it from happening again in the future, and that feels better. But that's not going to work, because affairs are not about what you were lacking or something that's in your control. It's about the internal world of the person who was unfaithful. But that is so much scarier, because it means you weren't in control and you still aren't. And that means you can't control the situation. And that's absolutely terrifying. What's important to understand, though, is that affairs exist in a bubble, a psychological bubble, where there's, no bills or laundry or schedules or shared history or even history of who I was as a person. No responsibility in the same way as in partnership. Inside that bubble, the unfaithful partner gets to feel lighter or more alive, more desired, more powerful, or whatever it was that the affair did for them. Not because the affair partner is superior, but because real life is temporarily suspended. Esther Perel describes this really well. She says that people are not typically looking for a new partner. They're looking for a different version of themselves. So when you compare yourselves to that affair partner, you're not fighting a fair fight, because it's not really about them and what they were providing. It's about who your partner got to be, what version of themselves they got to be in that relationship. Next, I want to talk about why this obsession can also feel compulsive, the looking at them, looking up information about them. It helps to start to recognize that this obsession is not about curiosity. It's about threat detection. It's about control. Because after betrayal, your nervous system goes into surveillance mode. Your brain is asking, where's the danger? What do I need to watch for? How do I help this from happening in the future? So when you look at the photo, your brain registers the affair partner as a threat, which spikes cortisol and causes distress. So that's a trigger. But looking provides also temporary relief, because your actions satisfy that urge. Okay, I checked and survived. There's no current threat. So this briefly lowers your cortisol spike. It's kind of like when you're scratching an itch or checking a locked door. The drop can feel really rewarding in that moment. And what happens, though, is your brain then links, okay, when I look, I get some relief from discomfort. So the urge returns stronger. Okay, I want to go and look again because I want that relief from discomfort to know that I'm safe in this moment. And each cycle kind of sensitizes your stress system, making even small reminders trigger bigger spikes that demand more checking. And this is why just stop looking usually doesn't work, because it's not just about willpower. It's about understanding the cycle that you've created. So it's not about having more self-control. It's recognizing that you're stuck in a trauma loop, which if you get stuck in this trauma loop, you can get into a comparison trap, which can turn into something I call self-erasure, which is when you are fixating on the affair partner, you slide into competition. You might start thinking, okay, if I look different, if I'm more sexual, if I'm more agreeable, I'm less emotional, I'm more like them, maybe my partner won't leave. Maybe I can prevent this from happening in the future. And this is something we want to stop doing, because healing from infidelity is not about winning your partner back. It's not about outperforming somebody else, and it's not about proving your worth. If your partner is going to stay, it needs to be because they are doing the work to understand why they broke trust, not because you twisted yourself into somebody who is unrecognizable. Because again, it was never about the affair partner, it was about your partner. And that's what needs to be addressed. So you may understand better why this obsession is happening, why it feels like this compulsive loop. So what do you actually do about it? So here are 3 tools that you can use to help break this comparison loop. Tool number 1 is turn towards, not away. Now this part can feel counterintuitive and really, really hard, because the person you used to turn to for comfort, I kind of like to think of them like a snuggly teddy bear, now feels like a threat. Like that teddy bear has turned into a grizzly bear coming at you. And your nervous system is confused because they're not sure, am I going to the teddy bear or the grizzly bear? Or maybe I was hugging the teddy bear and now it feels like a grizzly bear. And so there's this push and pull. So you need to reteach your brain that your partner is that teddy bear. And this isn't just a cognitive choice, of course, it's about experiencing it consistently over time. So if it is 2 a.m. and you're spiraling, turn towards your partner. Gently wake them up and let them know that you need comfort or reassurance or grounding. And you're not there for a fight. You're not there for answers, not punishment. This is not the time to have a big conversation, but to just have them be present with you. Now, this works best when you agree ahead of time what your partner can do to support you in those moments. And of course, this can change from moment to moment, but it's helpful to have a baseline of what they can do. And this is especially true if it's in the middle of the night. I always have partners agree while they're awake that this is something that's going to happen. So if somebody is awoken in the middle of the night, there's some kind of nugget in there that says this is something that we agreed on. Okay. But what you're doing is you're teaching your nervous system that you are not alone. You want to do this, not just in the middle of the night though, but anytime you're struggling with a trigger. Have your partner support you, reassure you, and be present with you. Tool number 2 is create anew. Infidelity creates a lot of grief in lots of different ways. It's not just about loss, but about stolen meaning. Certain places, songs, or experiences feel like they get contaminated. So instead of avoiding everything you loved or was a big part of your relationship, work to reclaim it together. Create new memories slowly and intentionally where this now feels like yours. For example, if a restaurant feels ruined, maybe they went there with the affair partner, start small. You can order takeout at home from this restaurant. You can sit in the parking lot together. You can go inside at a different time or time of day or a different meal than you normally would. You can sit somewhere different, order something different. So you're not pretending that it never happened. You're teaching your brain that new meaning is possible and you're creating new connections in this space so it doesn't feel like you have to give up everything that you loved. Tool number 3, urge surfing. When you have the urge to go on the affair partner's social media, ride the wave of that urge. What I'm going to ask you to do is set a timer for 15 minutes, and in that time, do something else. Do something to distract yourself, do something kind, do anything that takes your attention away for 15 minutes. Also, during this time, self-validate and ground yourself, meaning you want to tell yourself, it makes sense that I want to look. This is my brain's way of trying to keep me safe. I know I'm safe. Here are the things I'm doing to keep me safe. This helps him separate out the thought from what's happening in the moment and gives a little bit of distance, which can help you feel a little more in control and be a little more intentional. And at the end of that time, at the end of those 15 minutes, if you still want to look, then go ahead. But the hope is that the buffer will give you enough time to come back to your more grounded self and make a more intentional decision rather than just giving in to that urge. Infidelity can end the illusion that you were special simply because you were chosen, and that loss is absolutely real. But your worth was never created by your partner's choice, and it cannot be destroyed by their betrayal. So whether you stay or leave, healing begins in the same place. The affair partner is irrelevant to your value. They do not explain why this happened. They do not define what you deserve, and they cannot tell you who you are. So your job is not to compete. Your job is to heal and be gentle with yourself and recognize this is really hard work. Healing is really hard work, whether you stay or go. Healing from infidelity can also feel really lonely, and so it's helpful to create community. If you have any tools that helped you stop obsessing over the affair partner, be sure to put them in the comments below so we can learn and support each other. Now, if you want more content like this about real conversations, about improving relationships, healing from infidelity, be sure to like and subscribe.